Hello everyone. Today let us see about intracanal medicaments and when they are used in root canal treatment along with what are the medicaments used. Usually it is used after cleaning and shaping of the root canals, and the need for disinfection and intracanal medicament is that the polymicrobial nature of the endodontic infection which needs the intracanal medicament in certain conditions. First, let us see what Grossman indicated as the requirement of an ideal root canal medicament. He pointed out that it should be an effective antimicrobial agent. Along with being an antimicrobial, it should not irritate the periradicular tissues and it should remain stable in whatever solution placed. It should prolong the antimicrobial effect it has and should be active even in the presence of blood or any other proteinous serum or serous exudates, and it should never interfere with the periradicular repair potential. It should not stain the tooth structure, which is not wanted by us, and it should not induce a cell mediated immune response, which is again not wanted. Now let us see what Chong and Pitford indicated as the need for intracanal medicament. To dry weeping canals which is persistently wet even after irrigating frequently, and to eliminate any remaining microbes, and to make the canal content inert, to neutralize the remaining tissue debris which is left over inside, and also as a barrier against leakage between two appointments. Let us see an intro of the earlier used antimicrobials as intracanal medicaments. Grossman mentioned the use of PBSC, a paste which contained penicillin, bezitracin, streptomycin, and cryolite as a vehicle. PBSCN included neomycin in this paste. Other antimicrobials which were used as intracanal medicament include phenol, formocresol, and eugenol. Formocresol is sometimes used by periodontists but not currently recommended in endodontics as an intracanal medicament, and eugenol is considered toxic to periradicular tissues. Currently used intracanal medicaments include calcium hydroxide and chlorhexidine digluconate. Let us see in detail about these two. Calcium hydroxide was introduced by Hermann in 1920. Since then, it is used by endodontists widely, and also the nature of pH being 12.5, the highly alkaline nature of calcium hydroxide is mainly responsible for the antimicrobial action. The hydroxyl ions are released in aqueous environment, which attacks the bacteria by either damaging their DNA or protein denaturation, or either by acting the cytoplasmic membrane. It also induces the repair and induce hard tissue formation. There should be a vehicle to carry the powder form of calcium hydroxide. It could be either an aqueous medium or a viscous medium. The aqueous medium includes sterile water and saline, whereas the viscous includes glycerin, polyethylene glycol, and polypropylene glycol. Calcium hydroxide is also available commercially as a non-settable form to use as an intracanal medicament. It can also be used in combination with CMCP or chlorhexidine. Chlorhexidine digluconate is recommended both as an intracanal medicament and a root canal irrigant. And 2% chlorhexidine gel is commonly used as an intracanal medicament. Mixture of chlorhexidine and calcium hydroxide is also effective. Chlorhexidine has been found to be effective against Enterococcus faecalis and Candida albicans. Thus we saw in short about intracanal medicaments. See you soon in the next video.